The unit that I created is a literary unit with a social awareness component that revolves around the Metamorphosis by Kafka. It's built into three segments to correspond with the three segments in an insect as a parallel to the book. It is composed of the idea of the 4 C's. So we do have the critical and creative thinking, we have the communication, and we do have the collaboration in the unit. We also have the learner-learner relationship, the learner-instructor relationship, as well as the learner-content relationship highlighted in the unit as well. So in this unit, we begin with an introduction to censorship and absurdism. And absurdism is the genre of literature that the Metamorphosis falls under. And then in the second segment, we move into actually learning about the text itself and examining the text and then how that relates to the theories in psychology, such as Freudian social development, and then how we can apply that to ourselves. And then in the last segment, we look at applying those theories that we've just learned about to our identity, and then further applying those to historical figures. And that's where our cross-curricular component comes in, where we help the world history classes, use that kind of an allegory with those, with that component. Okay, so getting into the unit itself, we have the unit introduction here where we just learn about Kafka himself, and I tell the students how to use the site. It is designed to be a mostly 90% to 100% online. So I have to make sure that they understand how to use the site, but it also has links throughout the site, so that they can navigate easily. So if we go to segment 1, which is the censorship and absurdism section, we have the introduction to key concepts, okay, where we actually learn about absurdism. They do an internet scavenger hunt about absurdism and the author, and how absurdism and communism kind of go hand in hand, etc. And then also censorship. This is also a way for them to practice their APA skills, as I have them create a references page. After they complete that, then they'll do a censorship news source search as well for current events, and then they use Padlet in order to post those. For the second part, the second module in this, that's when we do the deep dive into absurdism. And then this is where they actually read an absurdist short story called The Nose by Gogol. And then they have a video discussion, but I did this one through Padlet because I thought that, we would save Flipgrid for another thing. And it would be a new way to use Padlet. And then they do a short story group assignment where they actually create their own absurd story. And then they present it using Prezi or Powtoon, and then submit that. I do have feedback surveys for each segment that students would fill out. Segment 2 is, of course, where we have the study of the actual story of the Metamorphosis. This is where we also examine, if we go here, we also examine articles about what creates a person's personality and apply that to the story itself. And this is where we do incorporate Flipgrid into our repertoire for the unit. And then we have, I give them tutorials and then places to submit their Flipgrids. And then we do have a Socratic seminar. This is something that we can do online in a large discussion board or in a synchronous session. Then I have them doing a blog, and this is something that I'm having them collaborate in pairs to do. I think it makes it more interesting and fun if they can discuss it and really analyze the character together. This is something that they will do in 3 parts, so they'll have 3 segments of the blog as well as we go through the 3 chapters. So segment 2, module 2, is the psychology of absurdism, and this is where I have a station rotation, where we can do these things online. It's like podcasts, watching and responding to videos, creating a poplet, and doing a voice thread, and then having a discussion with me, and we can do that discussion online. But it's another way of kind of breaking up how to respond to the novella, and then another blog entry, and then to finish the novella. And then in the 3rd segment, we apply what we've learned about personality, Freud, and everything into allegory. So we look at how we can see metaphor and allegory in the novel or novella, and I've given them an example here of Joseph Stalin and how we can see that, and then I have a Padlet here for them to contribute to. Okay, and then they finish and they polish the blog, and then I give prizes for the top 3 blogs. The segment 3 is kind of the I guess the piece de resistance of the whole project, because this is where we actually get to interact with the history classes, because we look at the psychology of personality and what we've just learned from Metamorphosis, and we look at epigenetics and what makes a person who they are and what goes on throughout our lives in our development to create who we are. And then we take this "if I were an animal, what would I be?" quiz, and really think about, like, okay, well, metaphorically, what could we see other people as, and then how can that help us remember, like, important facts about them, which is helpful for the world history classes. So I have them take the test, I have them do the Google response form, and then do a collaborative Padlet about what animals they are. And then what is going to be really great is when they actually get to contribute to the Historical Figures Edition website. So they're assigned a historical figure, and then they get to choose an animal that metaphorically represents that historical figure, and then using ThingLink, they get to then explain their choice with pictures and videos and explanations, providing then a kind of a Marzano-esque database for the world history students to then access as they study for end of the year exams. So I have the assignment down here. I created an example here for a bear, and Catherine the Great is who I chose. And then an exam, or just a ThingLink, how to use it tutorial there, and then I have the rubric. So that is pretty much the unit that I have created for this last portion of the the BOLS program, and I hope you enjoy it.